I think people tell themselves stories, and this sort of comes back to your worldview that you just mentioned about.
We always tease each other. He was, after I gave birth, he was like, oh my gosh, if I lost you and I, went to the park with our 3 kids, I mean, think of the ladies I can. Like, this is a horrible thing to say.
Ryan Reynolds' surprising decision to initiate divorce proceedings against Blake Lively sent shockwaves through Hollywood, a town already reeling from ongoing controversies tied to the movie adaptation of It Ends With Us. This high-profile couple, once regarded as the epitome of a successful Hollywood marriage, had previously garnered public affection for their playful social media interactions and appearances at award shows, where their humor and seemingly solid bond were on full display. So when news of their potential separation emerged, it caught fans, colleagues, and insiders off guard, raising questions about what could have led to such a dramatic and public unraveling of their relationship. For months, public attention had been focused primarily on the professional conflict between Blake Lively and her co-star and collaborator on the It Ends With Us film, Justin Baldoni. Lively had voiced strong objections to the way the production was handled, specifically accusing Baldoni of sidelining her creative input. According to her, Baldoni had pushed for comedic and stylistic choices that she did not agree with, which steered the film adaptation away from the more serious and emotionally resonant themes of the original novel by Colleen Hoover. Lively alleged that Baldoni had marginalized her during the filmmaking process, forcing her into creative decisions she neither supported nor endorsed, and even placing blame on her when elements of the film strayed from the novel's tone. These accusations painted Baldoni in a negative light, positioning him as an overbearing director who disregarded Lively's contributions. However, in a sudden and unexpected twist, new evidence began to surface that cast doubt on Lively's accusations. This evidence suggested that Lively's claims may have been exaggerated or even fabricated in an attempt to shift the blame onto Baldoni for the creative missteps that had been made during production. This new development added a layer of complexity to what had initially seemed like a straightforward artistic disagreement, turning the situation into a much deeper and more personal conflict. The most significant twist came when Ryan Reynolds, who had previously stood by his wife publicly, allegedly took the drastic step of filing for divorce. Sources close to the situation indicated that Reynolds had learned more about the situation and the extent of what might have been a calculated attempt by Lively to create a false narrative around Baldoni. This revelation reportedly prompted Reynolds to reevaluate his loyalty to his wife, leading to the dramatic decision to end their marriage. While the details of the divorce remain largely private, reports suggest that Reynolds was deeply troubled by the possibility that Lively had been dishonest in her claims, and this dishonesty may have been a decisive factor in his decision to file for divorce. Reynolds and Lively had long been seen as a model couple in Hollywood. Their marriage, which began in 2012, was frequently highlighted in interviews, red carpet events, and social media as a rare example of a stable, happy partnership in an industry known for its fleeting relationships. Their playful banter on platforms like Instagram and Twitter endeared them to millions of fans, and their appearance—
Always tease each other. He was, after I gave birth, he was like, oh my gosh, if I lost you and I, went to the park with our 3 kids, I mean, think of the ladies I can. This is a horrible thing to say. And he's like, I mean, I've got a long list. And I was like, oh, really? Because I just have one on my list.
Oh.
I don't have anyone on my list.
And then it wasn't funny anymore.
No, it's so much more of a burn. He's like, wait, who? And I was like, okay, think of someone, think of someone. Bob Newhart, I don't know.
Hey, Blake. It is 2 in the morning. Hopefully this does not wake you up. Whew. Wow, there's so much I want to say to you, and I hope that we can FaceTime or see each other in person soon and get to talk more. But I'm just gonna send you a few thoughts, and hopefully it's not gonna be more than a few minutes. But that I don't have the best track record. I don't think either one of us have the best track record for our voice memos. I want to start with an apology. Man, reading the second part of your message, my heart sank, and
appearances at events often made headlines for their lighthearted, affectionate interactions. Behind the scenes, they spoke of finding a delicate balance between their demanding careers and family life, with Reynolds famously taking time away from acting to focus on raising their children while Lively pursued high-profile roles in film. To many, their relationship seemed grounded in a mutual respect and shared sense of humor, qualities that set them apart from other Hollywood power couples. Few could have predicted that this seemingly unshakable bond would fracture so publicly and under such turbulent circumstances. But rumors of discord began to surface as the controversy surrounding It Ends With Us intensified. Lively's lawsuit against Baldoni, which had initially focused on artistic differences and creative control, took an unexpected turn when she accused Baldoni of deliberately sidelining her influence and disregarding her input. She alleged that Baldoni had chosen to include comedic scenes and eccentric costumes that clashed with the novel's serious themes, despite her objections. Lively claimed that Baldoni's decisions had undermined the film's integrity and pushed it in a direction that alienated fans of the novel, who had expected a faithful adaptation of the emotionally charged story. In response, Baldoni offered a counter-narrative, presenting evidence in the form of emails and text messages that suggested Lively had, at least initially, been fully on board with the comedic elements of the film. According to Baldoni, Lively had not only agreed to the comedic scenes but had actively supported them and even proposed some of the lighter moments in the film. The dispute quickly escalated when Baldoni claimed that some of the evidence Lively had presented in her lawsuit had been doctored to make it appear as though she had objected to the creative direction of the film from the beginning. This was a startling accusation, particularly given Lively's public persona as an advocate for women's empowerment and her reputation for honesty and integrity. First, many of Lively's supporters found it difficult to believe that she would falsify evidence or exaggerate her claims, given her standing in the industry and her long history of advocating for truth and transparency. However, as more evidence emerged, including digital files and testimonies from individuals involved in the production, Baldoni's version of events began to gain credibility. The new information suggested that Lively had indeed supported the comedic direction of the film in its early stages, but had reversed her stance after negative feedback from fans of the novel. According to these records, Lively became concerned that the film was straying too far from the emotional depth of the original story, and, rather than admitting her earlier involvement in the creative choices, sought to shift the blame onto Baldoni. The release of this new evidence sent shockwaves through both the public and the industry. Suddenly, Lively's credibility was called into question, and the once straightforward narrative of a director ignoring an actress's creative input became far more complicated. As the dispute became more heated, Ryan Reynolds, who had up until this point remained largely in the background, began to find himself drawn into the controversy. Although Reynolds had no direct involvement in the production of It Ends With Us, his close relationship with Lively made it impossible for him to avoid the media scrutiny surrounding the situation. Rumors circulated that he had occasionally visited the set or attended production meetings, though never in an official capacity. Initially, Reynolds expressed quiet support for his wife, making brief comments about having faith in her judgment and character. However, as more details about the conflict between Lively and Baldoni came to light, Reynolds reportedly began to question the validity of Lively's claims. According to insiders, Reynolds became privy to concrete evidence that contradicted Lively's version of events, prompting him to reconsider his stance. Some reports even suggested that a private conversation between Reynolds and Baldoni had opened Reynolds' eyes to aspects of the situation he hadn't previously been aware of. As the media frenzy grew, speculation intensified that Reynolds was facing a moral and emotional dilemma. On one side was his loyalty to his wife of more than a decade, with whom he shared a family and a public image of marital bliss. On the other side was the possibility that Lively had orchestrated a damaging smear campaign against Baldoni, using false claims to protect her own reputation at the expense of his. Multiple sources close to Reynolds suggested that he was deeply troubled by the idea of someone's reputation being harmed by dishonesty, particularly in a professional setting. Known for his strong principles regarding truth and fairness, Reynolds reportedly found it difficult to reconcile the idea that Lively could have engaged in such behavior. Before long,
It's a bit of a tough adjustment in our house, but it's good. I mean, I have two other daughters, so my oldest is very into the baby, but my middle child, not so much. But We're
really?
thinking of keeping her.
Does she like play with her? What does she think?
Well, she sort of like pretends to play with her. So like in the beginning, our oldest is like loving on her, and she's like very maternal, and then our middle daughter is just keeps away from her.
I for sure fell short, and you worked really hard on that, and the way you framed it, and how that made you feel. I just want to say thank you for sharing that with me. That takes a lot of trust and vulnerability, and I feel really grateful that you feel safe enough to tell me that that's how you feel and share that with me. And I'm really sorry. I f***ed up. That is a fail on my part. One thing you should know about me is I will admit and apologize when I fail. I am far from perfect. I'm a very flawed man, as my wife will attest. And and I'm gonna f*** up. I'm gonna say the wrong thing. I'm gonna put my foot in my mouth. I'm gonna piss you off, probably, but I will always apologize.
Rumors began to surface that Reynolds had vacated the home he shared with Lively, with paparazzi capturing photos of him staying with friends or at other locations. Their usual playful social media interactions came to an abrupt halt, with both Reynolds and Lively remaining silent on the matter. As the public and the media speculated on the state of their marriage, sources close to the couple suggested that Reynolds was struggling with his decision but felt compelled to act in accordance with his values. For someone whose public image has been built on authenticity and comedic charm, the idea of being associated with a situation involving deceit may have been too much for Reynolds to tolerate. The real bombshell came when court documents were leaked to select journalists, revealing that Reynolds had officially filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. The documents reportedly referenced the "it ends with us" controversy as a key factor in the breakdown of their marriage, with some insiders suggesting that the evidence of Lively's potential dishonesty played a significant role in Reynolds' decision. Although the legal filings did not delve into specifics about fabricated evidence, legal experts speculated that Lively's diminished credibility, combined with the notion that she may have tampered with important documents, likely weighed heavily on Reynolds' decision. The divorce news prompted a flurry of reactions across social media and gossip outlets. Fans and observers alike began to question whether Reynolds had truly reached the end of his tolerance, or if there were other underlying issues in the marriage that had contributed to the split. Some speculated that the controversy surrounding "It Ends With Us" had merely been the final straw in an already strained relationship, while others believed that Reynolds had been pushed to act after seeing irrefutable proof of Lively's alleged deceit. Friends within the couple's inner circle offered conflicting reports, with some describing Reynolds as heartbroken and torn, while others suggested that he had become resolute and decisive once faced with the evidence. Despite the mounting public interest, neither Reynolds nor Lively issued any statements addressing the divorce directly. Lively's representatives released only a brief statement indicating that she wished to handle personal matters privately, while Reynolds remained silent, focusing on his professional endeavors and children. The absence of public commentary only fueled further speculation about the reasons behind the divorce and what it meant for the couple's future. In the world of Hollywood, image is everything, and the fallout from this scandal could have lasting repercussions for both Reynolds and Lively. Lively, who has cultivated a reputation as a glamorous yet relatable figure, faces the possibility that her involvement in the "It Ends With Us" controversy could tarnish her carefully constructed public image. With the lawsuit against Baldoni still unresolved, Lively's professional future may be in jeopardy if she is unable to disprove the claims that she fabricated evidence or exaggerated her objections to the film's creative direction. Some industry insiders believe that Lively's career could take a significant hit, particularly if the narrative surrounding her credibility continues to deteriorate. Meanwhile, Reynolds, known for his comedic roles and entrepreneurial pursuits, may face his own challenges in navigating the aftermath of the divorce. While some fans have praised him for standing up for what they perceive as his moral principles, others have questioned whether he acted too quickly in distancing himself from Lively during a time of intense scrutiny. Hollywood is a world where loyalty is often valued just as much as honesty, and some fans may view Reynolds' decision to file for divorce as a betrayal, especially given the high levels of stress Lively was facing due to the ongoing legal battle with Baldoni. The center of the controversy is Justin Baldoni, who now finds himself caught in a personal and legal quagmire that has far exceeded the initial creative disagreements over the film adaptation of It Ends With Us. What began as a dispute over how to interpret a beloved novel has spiraled into a full-blown scandal involving accusations of intimidation, smear tactics, and potentially falsified evidence. Baldoni has expressed dismay at how the situation has unfolded, publicly stating that it saddens him to see a creative project cause such personal turmoil. Yet, he remains firm in his stance, insisting that he will continue to defend his name and reputation against what he perceives as baseless accusations from Lively. Insiders close to Baldoni suggest that he feels vindicated by Reynolds' divorce filing, viewing it as further confirmation of the severity of the fracture between Lively and Reynolds. While Baldoni never intended for the dispute to spill over into personal lives, the legal battle has now taken on a new dimension, with the dissolution of one of Hollywood's most beloved marriages adding a bitter personal layer to the professional conflict. Observers in the media have drawn parallels to other high-profile celebrity splits that were triggered by scandal, noting that the fallout from this situation could have long-term consequences for all involved. As the legal proceedings continue to unfold, some industry insiders believe that Reynolds may have chosen to file for divorce as a way to protect his own public image and professional ventures. Over the years, Reynolds has invested in a wide array of businesses, from film production companies to international beverage brands, and being associated with a scandal involving falsified evidence could jeopardize key partnerships and business deals. By severing ties with Lively, Reynolds may be attempting to distance himself from the controversy and avoid any reputational harm that could arise from his association with the legal battle. However, ending a marriage in such a public and dramatic fashion is no small decision, and those close to Reynolds say that he is deeply hurt by the situation but firmly resolved to move forward. For someone whose public persona has been built on authenticity and comedic wit, the personal toll of the divorce is likely significant. Yet, Reynolds appears determined to maintain a sense of integrity, even if it means making difficult and painful decisions in the public eye. Blake Lively, meanwhile, finds herself in an increasingly precarious position. With the lawsuit against Baldoni still unresolved and her divorce from Reynolds looming, she faces significant challenges in both her personal and professional life. If she is unable to provide evidence that refutes the claims against her, her carefully cultivated image as a relatable and stylish Hollywood star may be at risk. For years, Lively has positioned herself as a figure of wit, elegance, and family values, but the allegations of dishonesty and manipulation could cause irreparable damage to her reputation if they are proven to be true. Even some of Lively's most ardent supporters have begun to question the sincerity of her initial accusations, particularly in light of Reynolds' decision to file for divorce. Online forums and social media platforms have been flooded with debates, with some fans speculating that Lively may have been reacting to feelings of being overshadowed or misunderstood during the production process. Others believe that the newly revealed materials have been taken out of context or misinterpreted, suggesting that any inconsistencies in Lively's statements could be the result of on-set confusion rather than intentional wrongdoing. An additional complication in the ongoing saga is the rumored involvement of Disney, which reportedly aligned itself with Baldoni early on in the dispute. According to sources within the industry, Disney may have provided Baldoni with financial support or legal resources to challenge Lively's claims, a move that has sparked further speculation about the broader implications of the lawsuit. If it is revealed that Lively indeed fabricated aspects of her accusations, Disney's decision to back Baldoni could be seen as both strategic and ethically justified. On the other hand, if Lively is able to present new evidence that supports her version of events, Disney could face criticism for siding with Baldoni prematurely. One of the most significant unanswered questions is whether the revelation that Lively's charges against Baldoni were fabricated served as the precise tipping point for Reynolds' decision to seek a divorce. Legal experts suggest that Reynolds' team would have carefully reviewed all aspects of the situation before filing, taking into account not only the potential impact on his public image but also the possible financial and familial ramifications of the split. In Hollywood, where public perception can make or break a career, the decision to divorce in such a high-profile manner is likely a calculated one. If Reynolds' divorce petition is not the final dramatic development in this ongoing saga, Lively and her legal team may escalate the matter, challenging the portrayal of her claims as fraudulent. Should she manage to present new evidence that validates her original statements, public opinion could shift back in her favor, casting Reynolds' swift decision to divorce in a different light. In that scenario, some may question whether Reynolds acted too hastily in abandoning his spouse during a time of immense personal and professional pressure. Conversely, if Lively is unable to produce material that contradicts the growing belief that she inflated her accusations, she may become an example of the dangers of disavowing creative decisions once public backlash sets in. The situation highlights the complexities of navigating both personal and professional conflicts in the public eye, especially when those conflicts involve high-stakes legal battles and reputational risk. For now, both Reynolds and Lively face an uncertain future, with their respective legal and personal sagas likely to play out in the media for months to come. Observers in the industry are already speculating about the broader fallout for both actors. Reynolds, who has cultivated a brand based on humor and authenticity, may seek to distance himself from the scandal by focusing on his business ventures and professional responsibilities. Meanwhile, Lively, who has built a public persona centered on style, wit, and family, may find it difficult to maintain that image if the legal battle with Baldoni continues to cast doubt on her credibility. The situation is further complicated by the fact that It Ends With Us, the film adaptation at the center of the entire dispute, remains in production limbo. Reports suggest that the production has been paused until the legal issues are resolved, leaving fans of the novel wondering if the film will ever see the light of day. The author of the source material, Colleen Hoover, has so far remained silent on the matter, though some speculate that she may release a statement once the legal and personal drama settles. There is a certain irony in the fact that the novel It Ends With Us deals with themes of emotional intensity, personal growth, and healing, yet the film adaptation has become engulfed in allegations of manipulation, dishonesty, and the possible dissolution of a once-adored Hollywood marriage. Controversy serves as a reminder of how quickly creative projects can derail when personal motives and clashing visions come into play. In Hollywood, where image and reputation are everything, the fallout from this scandal is far from over. Many suspect that Reynolds' divorce petition is not the final chapter in this dramatic story. As both Lively and Baldoni continue to navigate their respective legal battles, it remains to be seen whether new revelations will emerge that further complicate the already murky situation. For Reynolds, the road ahead may involve convincing the public that he acted honorably by severing ties with what he perceives as significant deceit. While many fans will likely side with him for choosing honesty over loyalty, others may criticize him for stepping away when his partner needed his support the most. As the legal and personal drama continues to unfold, one thing is clear: the stakes are high for everyone involved. In Hollywood, where public perception can shift in an instant, the outcome of this bitter dispute could have lasting consequences for the careers and reputations of all parties. Time will tell whether Lively can restore her credibility and maintain the loyalty of her fan base, or if Reynolds will emerge from this scandal with his image intact. For now, the spotlight remains firmly on this once celebrated couple, as the world watches to see how their story will ultimately play out.